Hey there, heroes, pros, rehearsal pro users, VO heroes people. This is one of my favorite times of the year. And you would think, seeing as how I'm all decked out in green, that I'd be talking about Christmas. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is our guest. I get to talk to Jodie Bentley. Jodie, how are
Hi,
ya?
I'm good. I'm
Yeah?
good. Yeah, I'm cold here in Los Angeles, I have to say. I don't know why I'm so I'm actually this is like totally TMI, I guess, as we start this session today. I'm actually sitting on a heating pad because I'm so cold. And it's like 65 degrees out, and I leave to go to the East Coast in a week. So everybody wish me luck, is basically what I'm saying.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well, at
yeah,
least your bun is warm.
correct. Correct.
Jodie Bentley is a friend for a long time, a fellow actor, fellow voice talent, a client, one of our first back when it was VO to go, and I had to tell everybody how to spell my domain name. Uh, Jodie took some courses with me, and how many audiobooks have you done now?
Over 50, 50, 56. Yeah.
I was like, she's going to say 12, 15, something like that. No.
No.
Wow, that is so awesome. I mean,
Thank you.
I just did a podcast episode yesterday, and the theme of it is I prefer to build people up rather than tear people down. I've found
Yeah.
that lately, the joy of seeing the success of my friends and my family and my clients and my students far outstrips the notion that we have to do something about these a-holes on social media. And
Yeah.
so, this is one of those moments. This is one of those lovely, enjoyable moments when the number is a lot bigger than I thought it would be. Not that anybody's keeping score,
No,
but it's
no.
like, have you had some fun? Have you had some success? Have you had some income from this? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
I just love it. I just love to hear that. And I love it in particular because Jodie listens. Jodie listens to potential wisdom from other people. Jodie listens when her clients speak to her. Jodie listens when her production partners, like casting or directors or producers or writers, speak. She's got this tuned ear. And she also, let me brag on you for just a little bit more. Jodie also
A little bit.
uh, does a lot with what she hears.
Mm.
She will take something and go, how can my friends and family and students and clients profit from this? How can they benefit from this? How do you think that all started? Why did you go from, oh, that's interesting to, oh, that's interesting?
And like to share it with people, you
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was what that little move was. That I
Got
don't know
it.
if you
I
know
got
that.
it.
That's like mime 404. It's an advanced technique. But it's
I'm
like,
not aware. I
okay,
wasn't aware. Now I
all right.
know. I'm
Now
learning. I'm
you know.
hearing you. I hear you, David. I hear you. Um,
All right. So when
you
did
know,
it go from that? When did you get rewarded for sharing something or what?
ooh, it's a really good question. I have such a deep innate um value in my life of belonging and inclusion that I think when I learn something or hear of something, or even if I like get a really good like lip gloss, do you know what I mean? It's like I want to tell the people that I love if they could benefit from it. So I
Really,
think
lip
it's
gloss? Okay. I'm not going to be
not
able
you,
to
David,
touch that,
but
but
maybe
okay.
if you
Yeah.
have dry lips, maybe.
All right.
No, I mean I'm being facetious with that, but no, I think I just have this. I've always had this deep innate thing of I want to do it together, right? We're in this together. And I think I'm always wanting community around me because I didn't really have that as a kid. So I've always wanted to build community and have community. And part of my joy in community is connecting people, connecting them to ideas, thoughts, bigger things than they ever thought could even happen for them. Lip gloss, whatever it may be, right? Like just that connecting people to bigger ideas, thoughts, actions, things they never thought of, and how we can all grow together with that. So I think it's just innately who I was. Even as a kid, I'd like learn something new and go to school and tell everybody. Like I just wanted everyone to know. I wanted all of us to know together and how we
Mm,
can grow together.
great.
Yeah.
And how bad of a year, how big of a shite show was 2023? Because I want to see if there was anything that happened this year that you gathered and that you might be able to share.
Got it. Do you see how I already leaned back? I'm like, this is going to be a deep conversation, isn't it?
By the way, as you're watching this, please do me a favor. Jump down to the comments below the video that you're watching. We're on 3 different networks. This used to be called a simulcast back in the 80s, 90s. But we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, the YouTube, and I'd love to hear where you're watching from. Whether 2023 was an awful year for you, whether it was a great year for you. I mean, people that are union actors, they have a very big kind of, bolus of crap that happened this year that, didn't happen to others, but it affected others to a
Yeah.
great degree. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to see where you're listening from, what's going on. Let me know what's going on. But back to Jodie, was it as big of an awful year as some people say it is or was? What was it for you?
um, God, it was all over the place. I mean, there was definitely some months where it was a shit show. Yeah, where panic, um, freaking out. I'll say panic again. Just felt I had a couple months of panic. I will say that with everything going on in the industry. Like I feel like we've had to be so resilient as artists over the past few years, right? We have a pandemic. Our industry changed the way it did business, right? We moved through that. We managed to move through that, and then we're just getting our groove back. And then the strikes happen, and it just feels like bah, 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 like just getting hit from all sides. And we've just really had to be resilient. And there was just a point this year where I was just like, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired of being resilient. Again, part of what I just said about me, like part of me is like, how can I help the community? Oh my God, all this stuff is happening. How can I support? What can I create? What can I do? And sometimes when I do that, you know, I I don't give myself time to process. And there was just a good month or so where I was like, nope, this is a shit show. This is a shit show. I just need to feel the shit show to get my bearings, get my grounding to be able to move forward. So I will say the whole entire year was not awful by any means. That I definitely found my way through it, found some new ways of doing things, found some new ways of thinking about stuff. Because our industry is shifting and changing. And how are we shifting and changing with it? And we're either going to resist it or we're going to grow with it.
Yeah.
So that's sort of where I landed at the end of the year. But there was definitely a couple months of panic for sure.
So even in a year that was yet again an awful year, we've had, as you said, a few in a row.
Yeah.
There were things to notice. There were things to be aware of. There were things that you need to understand if you're going to move forward as an actor or a voice talent. And man, I'm telling you, I was counting on you to be the one to do all the listening because I didn't have enough time to do the listening myself. And I also am always very interested in the thoughtful result of what you come up with
Hmm.
when you look at things. And part of that is seeing the courses that you create, seeing the sessions that you hold, the coffee clutches, the online meetings that you hold in your groups, and seeing when the seeing when the situation that we find ourselves in is something that you can take advantage of.
Hmm. Mhm.
Rather than something that just destroys you, makes you want to pull the covers up over your head and wait for a few weeks to come out.
Right.
You've just done a series of free webinars
Mhm.
on that word that you used, resilience.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes words become catchphrases or catchwords, hot words, and they
Yeah.
sometimes lose their power. But resilience is one of those things that for actors is almost a necessity. What were
What
the
would
big
be
takeaways from what you shared with people in those webinars about resilience?
Well, what when I took a step back this year and was like, "I'm tired of being resilient," and had my little panic tantrum. Um, I was like, "Well, hold on. Like you just said, we always get to be resilient. We're getting rejected on a constant basis. We've chosen a career that ebbs and flows, right? We want there to be consistent um income, jobs, bookings, what have you, and sometimes there isn't. When I took a step back this year, I was like, everyone's like, oh, our industry is so unstable. How can we even have a career with the instability of everything? And I'm tired of being resilient and this and that. And it's like, well, okay, it was heightened this year for sure. Um, but we're always faced with an unstable industry, right? That's kind of the job we've chosen.
Sure.
So, how do you navigate that? How do you find your footing in that? And I think one of the biggest things in the webinars that I just did was really about taking ownership, taking responsibility for everything. Right. Because it's very easy to go, oh, this industry sucks. I'm going to blame, the SAG after president, and I'm going to blame my agent, and I'm going to blame the manager, and I'm going to blame the studios, and I'm going to blame everybody. Right. But was that too much,
A lot
David?
of blame going around there. Okay.
Well, but that's the vibe I was feeling, right? And I think a
Yeah.
lot of people do that, right? I'm not getting any auditions. My agent's terrible. Well, okay, well, let's take a second. Let's look at your materials. Let's see what you can be doing, right? So I think it just reinform re not informed uh I don't know, the word went away. Just solidified for me of how much we get to take responsibility of ourselves in this business, right? Because it's my career. It's not my agents or my managers. It's your career, not the directors you work for or the publishers that hire you. It's yours, right? And of course, you're going to be a team player in that environment. But I think it's so important to just take a step back and assess. And that's one of the biggest things I talked about in the webinar is how how can you take a 10,000-foot view on your own career? Right? Because we get so caught up with everything, with the blinders on, and I got to go, and oh my God, all this stuff is happening, but I just got to keep going, and I got to hustle, and I got to do all the things. But I do feel like, especially at the end of the year, and especially this year, and where we're moving into 2024, I just think it's so important just to like slow your roll and take a 10,000-foot view on your own career and go, okay, but what worked and what didn't of what I did? What do I love doing? What don't I love doing? Where did I feel fulfilled? Where did I hate things? How do I really feel about everything now? Who do I want to be in this industry now? And I think those are questions that a lot of artists don't ask because we go, okay, well, my goal this year is to get an agent or to book, 20 more audiobooks or to do this or to do that. And then we jump. Um, but all you're going to be doing is really recreating the year before, right? If
Mm.
you're not changing anything, we're just recreating the year that we had. And look, for those of you watching, if you had a great year, wonderful, keep going. But if you know that you're capable of more, if you know that this year wasn't what you wanted to be, then you need a different way of looking at stuff. You need a different plan. You need a different way of being to get you where you want to go because doing what you've done is not working.
Yeah. Want your questions, those of you watching or those of you watching on the replay, just pop them in the comments below. We have some waiting already. This has been the year of AI to a degree.
Yeah.
Dave says, mobile RV studio, RF desert in New Mexico, streaming off grid, baby. Okay. Can you speak to the blowback concerning the lack of AI protection in the new SAG contract? Agree or disagree? So you're positioning it for us, Dave. You're making your feelings known by the way you pose the question. The answer could be we disagree with your supposition that there are no protections against AI in the contract. That may or may not be true. Um, so the what's going on here? Webcam, Charles O'Hare. Okay, I don't know what's going on in our studio, but somebody's logging in there. Um, okay, so I want to talk about AI, and I want to talk about how it's going to affect things that happen. But let's start with what was possible, what was not possible, what could have been done, what couldn't have been done. But more importantly, whether or not your idea of AI protections, what that means, and so on, and how it's really going to be affecting us. I heard Jonathan Handel talking about AI, and I'm not sure that he's an AI expert. He's a law expert, but he's talked to a lot of AI experts, and he's like, there are a lot of people that are afraid of things that just don't exist yet. And the word "yet" was really important. So I think we could have gotten um, protections. We could have gotten less protections. We could have landed somewhere else in the negotiations. But in particular, this contract was about prime time. It was TV theatrical. It was prime time, and that's all we were negotiating. We weren't negotiating anything else like voiceover. We weren't negotiating voiceover.
Right.
So we are in other categories, but when you look at AI and you look at how people are scared of it or welcome it or a combination of the two, what do you offer people?
You know, our industry's shifting. Our industry is shifting. We can't fight technology. It's like when silent pictures went talkie and black and white pictures went color, and all these changes that have happened in our industry, right? The horse and buggy went into a car. Like, we've had these dramatic shifts in our world with technology. And I do think the protections we've received are good in the contract. I do. Can there be more? Of course. Like you said, we don't know where this is going. Can there be more? But we have none right now. And yeah. Anyway, I do think I believe studios will probably create AI divisions, right? I'm talking theatrically. I think studios will create their own AI divisions. They're going to create their own AI content. And whether we called ourselves actors in the contract or not, or got an actor as a human, that's moot. They're still going to create AI divisions of their studios, right? In 5 years, there could be an AI Oscars solely for things created completely out of AI. We can't control that. That's where the industry is going. But what I do know is that humanity isn't going anywhere. What I do know is there still be the need for humans, and people will be creating that, and there will be content for that. And that, as long as we have these protections and protocols and systems around us to protect the licensing of ourselves and our value and our talent, that's how we get to move forward. So I think it's going to be both worlds of things moving forward, and I think our contracts will continually evolve as we do it. But AI is not going anywhere. Like, I think a lot of people thought, well, these contracts will get rid of AI in our unions. Well, no, it's here and it's been here.
Yeah.
And even the past 6 months, we've seen how it's grown.
So I have a follow-up.
Yeah.
And the follow-up is just today, the New York Times announced that they have an editor-in-chief for their AI division. They're going to be playing with AI. They're going to be using AI for certain things. They're going to be examining it, and they named somebody to be in charge of that. I'm sure the reporters in the newsroom are feeling much of the same things that we as actors are feeling. And my question to Jodie Bentley, who is here on this session with us quite nicely, is help us understand how to feel about this. Because we can jump to panic, we
Yeah.
can jump to dismissal, we can jump to, hey, that's pretty cool. But I wonder, this is one of your superpowers where you can help us focus on reaction, action, moving forward with a reasonable set of emotions to be at peace and to be active about this. If you could help us with that, that would be great. Not that I'm asking you so much.
I love it. Starting with the small questions here, dude. Right, because look, all of this stuff does bring up a lot of emotions, right? And that's where I went into panic mode back in March or April, because I was like, AI is gonna take all my jobs, right? And I had a panic. And I don't believe that now. I don't feel that now. And I think over the year, what came up for me a lot, and I think what I've been instilling in a lot of my clients is, how can we be curious about this? Can the emotion be curiosity? Can we look at this through a curious lens of, oh, wow, look how our industry is shifting. Oh, isn't that interesting? New York Times now is going to have a chief of AI for an AI division. I wonder what that means. Isn't that interesting? I'm going to be curious about that. I'm going to learn about that. Again, this tech isn't going away. So I need to learn about this tech to understand, does it affect me? How does it affect me? How could I use it for myself? Is there a benefit for me to it down the line? I wonder what that could be. So I just really invite everyone to just stay in curiosity mode about everything, even about your own career. Like, that's what we were talking about earlier, about like taking that 10,000 foot view in your career of like, how can we just stay curious about what is going on, as opposed to going to the despair, the anger, the sadness, this, and look, feel your feelings and take the time to vent with your friends over a glass of wine, by all means. But then we get down to the nitty gritty of like, if I still want to be an artist here, and I still want to call myself an actor, a voiceover artist, a filmmaker, a director, whatever it may be, how can I be curious about where this industry is going, how it is evolving, and what is now my place in it? And how do I want to define my place in it?
Yeah. And I think,
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I would lean into the emotion of curiosity.
Yeah. And the cool part about doing that, doing what Jodie Bentley offered you the opportunity to do, is the moment you concentrate on being curious about something, the panic kind of evaporates.
Sure.
The lack of knowledge becomes a little bit more easy to chow down on, because you're curious about it. You're going to find out about it. And we tend to feel helpless because we have no way of stopping this. We have no way of changing it. We have no way of changing the minds of big production entertainment behemoths who are looking to not only make great material, but also satisfy the responsibility they have to their shareholders. They are required by law to be, the harbinger of good financial news. They have to, they can't participate in malfeasance, and it would be against their agreements as a public company and SEC requirements and all these other things that we don't care about because we're actors. We don't care about all that crap.
Right.
So you get a chance to, you have a finite amount of energy. Maybe you can figure out ways through meditation or exercise or whatever to get more energy, but you have a finite amount of it.
Yeah.
And if you spend it all on terror and dread and uncertainty and awfulness and pus and blood and teeth, and I'm going to keep going. Yeah,
No,
I am. Bones. All right. As opposed to what gift you were just offered, how about just simple curiosity? Now, here's the thing. This is why I love Jodie Bentley, because she comes up with this stuff and she shares it and she shows you why this is important. And I have been aware of a course that she offers called Dare to be Unstoppable. And this course lets you explore ways to not only be more resilient, to be more curious, to be more at peace with the craziness of our business. And it's just going to get crazier. But Jodie has this amazing way of making it make sense. And she, had these webinars over the last few days. And a lot of people got a lot of great stuff out of it. I always do. And there's an opportunity for you to just get this heaping helping of chocolatey goodness from Jodie Bentley in the form of this course called Dare to be Unstoppable. Can you talk about this for a second?
Yeah. This course, first of all, let's just say this course is my heart. This course was born out of a time in my own life when I was struggling and in a rough spot, and I was stuck in a rut, and I was unmotivated, and I was driven, and I had these goals and I didn't know how to get them. And I was just in a hamster wheel. So I don't know if anyone can relate to that. And that's how this course was born, because I had to figure out a way to get myself out of what I had created. And I started prepping these questions to ask myself and these exercises and things to do. And I locked myself in a hotel room literally for 3 days in Ventura, California. And I was like, I'm not going to leave this hotel until I figure out.
Not a bad place to be locked into a hotel room for 3 days.
I don't know what I was thinking. But the beach was pretty. I had the water, I
Yeah.
had a balcony, I had some wine. It was lovely. Um, uh, but my point in saying all of that is, um, we all hit places in our careers and in our lives where it's like things just don't align, things just don't work, and we don't know what to do. And that's really what this course supports you with, is really understanding who you are, how you tick, what's getting in your way, your limiting beliefs, all of your excuses, going deep on that, changing your neural programming to realign that, then figuring out what it is that you really want. Like I became an actor. I moved to New York at 17 years old to go to NYU Tisch School of the Arts and decided I was going to be a musical theater actor at 17, right? But so many people decide those things at a young age and then we hold on to them. We go, oh no, but I said I was going to do this. But is it what you want now? Is it who you are now? Is it your passion and drive and fulfillment now? So it's
Yeah.
so important to assess that. I think for the longest time, I didn't let go of musical theater performer because I felt like a failure if I did,
Mm,
as opposed to moving into a new space.
yeah.
So it helps you with that. And then it's all about strategy, planning, results, right? Crafting that plan, crafting those goals that will actually work, that you'll actually stick to with consistency. So
Yeah.
that's really what the course is, because so many people start the new year and they go, all right, I'm going to get an agent. I'm going to book 10 audiobooks. I'm going to do this, do that. And then, February comes around and you're like, oh, I don't
Did you
know.
hear what happened there? Did you hear what you just said? It's not just why you need to do this and how to do this, but then actually winnowing that down to achievable and stretch goals
Yeah.
for the year, because you can come up with an unending list
Okay.
of goals and objectives and potential achievements for the year, and if it's this long, it's going to be daunting. You're going to look at it every day and go, I don't have the energy for this. So this is what I love about it. I just wanted to mention it because the URL on your screen is going to either take you to the course or it's going to take you to Jodie's webinars. Either way, let Jodie's team know that you heard about it here. It's voheroes.com/dare. I want to answer. I want to answer. I want to have Jodie answer any questions that you have about the unease that you have right now, if at all, or see your comments about what you feel is going well in your life and how you can maximize that, how you can add to that, how you can multiply that. In the comments below, please pop your things in, as Dave has and as Tamir has. Um, Take advantage of this moment because you've got Jodie Bentley live. And how many? What's your? How many people have you had go through the course so far?
Oh,
Hundreds, thousands?
Oh,
You know?
hundreds. Oh, yeah, hundreds.
Yeah. And
Like,
these are not. This is not like. No offense to Paducah, Kentucky. Actually, there's much offense to Paducah, Kentucky, but no offense. This is not for necessarily community theater members of the Paducah, Kentucky Community Theater. This is for you, the professional actor, the professional voice talent, the person who's decided, I'm actually going to make money at this.
yeah.
I'm going to do this, if not for a full time career with a side hustle or not, but as a pursuit that could grow into that. It's meant for somebody who is dead serious about being a a professional actor or voice talent, and it's called Dare to be Unstoppable. When you look at people who dare not to be unstoppable, dare to be stoppable, do you have like maybe the top two or three things that keep them from being able to just dare to move higher, move forward, move to a new level in their career?
Mhm. Yeah.
Would you mind
Um,
sharing?
no, yeah, of course I'll share. No, it was interesting because that's a question I did at the top of the webinar that I just taught. I would take people through a little visualization and I would say, okay, like what is in the way, right? You know where you are and you know where you want to be, and what's in the gap? What is in that gap? What is actually stopping you from getting that career that you want, that life that you want? What is actually stopping you? And I would have people write it in the chat. And David, the overwhelming response, which I already knew that this would be the answer, was me, right? People saying, I'm in the way. I'm in the way.
Not you, Jodie Bentley, but
Not
the
me in the way.
subject.
I'm not in the way. You
Yeah,
are in the way.
yeah.
Thank you
We
for
are
the
our own worst enemies in so many ways, right?
correct,
Yeah.
correct. And that's the biggest thing. Because like, look, you could go, everyone could go and pay, 150 bucks and go to a 3-hour goals workshop and leave with some pretty little Canva worksheets, right? And have it sit on your desk and you feel like you did a good job. You know what I mean?
Canva worksheets.
Well, it's true. It's true.
Yeah,
That's what you're
yeah,
spending your $150 for, right? But if you're not doing the deep work, it doesn't matter, right? Because if you're still self-sabotaging, if you're still procrastinating, if your excuses are still there, if your limiting beliefs are still getting in the way, if all of that stuff is happening, those pretty little Canva goal sheets don't matter. So for me, the biggest thing is we get in our own way. You get in your own way. Your mindset gets in your own way.
yeah.
And I think that's the last thing I wanted to look at when I first started off as an artist, or even when I got like into my 30s. I was like, no, I'm just gonna stay the course. It's fine, because it takes courage to actually look at your own bullshit.
Yeah.
That's really what it is taking
So,
the courage and taking the time to look at your own bullshit. Yes, David.
so you just said it. You said courage,
Yeah.
and to tie into we're often our own worst enemies. It's us that keeps us back. I always say it's fear. And
Oh,
sometimes
sure.
people will say fear is the opposite of courage. I don't know that that's necessarily true,
No.
but in our heads we think, "Oh, I'm fearful. I'm courageous," and this notion of the fear of failure or the fear
Oh,
of
sure. Success.
not or the fear of success, the
Mhm.
fear of not knowing enough or
Or
not
no.
knowing enough to just get started.
Yeah.
Lauren has what I consider to be a version of one of the best questions that we can ask
I
now
love it.
that you're giving in, advice and stuff. Laura says, I feel there is a lot of noise in this business of people telling you what is right and what is wrong.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it's a business of opinions. Maybe. How do you know when to take the advice of industry professionals who could be self serving and may even be less able than us? I think is what she means.
Mhm.
Table, those that damn autocorrect,
Yep.
versus just following your gut instincts and going for bold asks. So I'd love to know
Love
what you
that.
think about this. I think that maybe the assumption that this is a business of opinions. I think this is a business of reliable processes and potential facts. Oh, stable is what she
Able
said.
than us.
Stable, less stable than us. I'm with you. But I think that I don't think we can be reductive and say it's just an industry of opinions. I think there are some things that bear themselves out over time and can be reliable in terms of
Sure.
facts. But you're absolutely right. It's like, I have an absolute rule for success, and that is do more of what works and
Yeah.
less of what doesn't. And the problem there is that there are 5 million people, us included, me and Jodie included, Jodie over there, included, who are offering our advice to you.
Mhm.
And you got to ask this question all the time. Do you trust this person to
Yeah.
give you an answer? And do they say, here's what I think the litmus test is. Do they say, I don't know, let me look into that enough? Because there are some people who are so absolutely against ever being considered unknowing or not the ultimate guru
Right.
wisdom person. I say I don't know all the time because it lets me be curious. All right. So Jody, how do you help Lauren with this? How do you help her decide
Yeah.
who to pay attention to and who not to pay attention to?
Yeah. I mean, well, I agree with you, David,
And why
wholeheartedly.
should she pay attention to you or me? Let me just dump all that on you so you can
Right.
take care of it for us.
Right. Well, first of all, I agree with what you said, David, of like, who do you trust, right? And who feels authentic, who feels of integrity, who feels like they want to be of service, not self-serving, which is, I know, is a thing that you said there, Lauren. And sometimes it is hard to go, okay, but if I respect that person, I do trust that person, and they told me this thing, but I don't know, right? You get that feeling, Lauren, like in your solar plexus, and you're like, ooh, that doesn't feel right. What doesn't feel right? I think it's,
Especially when it's counterintuitive,
yeah,
especially when it could be right, but I don't know.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, exactly.
But I think again, this goes back to the curiosity thing, right? We get to be curious about information given to us and distill it, right? But the big thing that comes up for me a lot, and this is a lot that I go on in the course, Dare to Be Unstoppable, is like, what is your ego and what is truth? And sometimes those are really hard to discern, because someone might be sharing something with you, Lauren, and that could be just be triggering you on a deep level of your limiting beliefs or your deep wounds. So you're actually not open to hearing it because you're seeing the world through a different filter that might not be serving you. So is it your ego that's resisting or feeling those things? Or is that truth and you want to lean into that curiosity and see what you feel? Right. So it kind of also is going back to what I was saying of like really understanding self and what's getting in your own way to be able to distill that information and to have discernment over that information. Now, on the flip side of that, people in this industry love to should all over us all the time, right? You should do this, you should do that. It gets very messy. So I think really looking at what someone is saying to you and going, is that they're saying I should do this, but is that something I want to do? Is that something I must do? Does that resonate with me? Is that in alignment with my value system? Is that in alignment with the goals that I've set for myself? Is that in alignment with the priorities that I've set for myself this year? That I think it's really important to look at things from all angles and not just lean into FOMO or do something just because someone said. Because if it, make sure it resonates with you and that it resonates.
Yeah. I also think it's a good idea, if it's possible, to do this in a non-destructive way,
Yeah.
to attempt to do certain things, because some of those
Sure.
things that you're given advice, like I teach people how to use something called the stair step method when it comes to editing audiobooks. And
Yep.
there's a lot of people who, nope, punch and roll. That's how to do it. That's what I've been told. That's what everybody does. Okay, well, bear with me. Try it. Just see. And now with the new version of it, where we actually use key combinations, it's even faster.
Yeah.
There's all this cool stuff. If you can try it, and you can try without having to abandon other ways of doing things, if you can try a different way of doing a self-tape in a different environment with a different piece of gear, maybe just your phone and no dangling microphones, just the microphone on your phone, maybe that's good enough. Who knows? You can always try that before you go out and spend, $700 on a mirrorless camera. But you can try things, and you have the ability. And Jodie is one of these people who tries stuff all the time.
I do.
I see her trying things all the time just to test them out,
Mhm.
just to see what's going on. And if it works, great. If not, I can stop using it. It's not going to affect me. Now, there are some times, when if you try something, you're down a path and you got to keep going because you've abandoned what's behind you. So all of these things are things that are up in the air, and I dare you right now to ask me a better question than Lauren has asked, because this is the $1,000,000 question, because a lot of these people, Jodie included, me included, ask you to pay us money for our support. And that makes it an even bigger
Yeah.
risk, because now you're asking to, you're being asked to put up money for this.
Yeah.
And I get it. We're already lower on the income totem pole on average than 99% of the pursuits that people do in life.
Yep.
We as a whole, as a family, as a tribe, we make less money per capita than almost anybody. And we do so because we're called to this.
Yeah.
The very least you can do is figure out ways to put up guardrails on what you choose to do. And Dare to Be Unstoppable, I can tell you from personal experience, gives you that kind of support. It gives you that kind of decision-making capabilities. It gives you that kind of action creation capabilities.
Yeah.
So am I describing it the way you would like it to be described, Jodie?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
I mean, it's all the things. That's why I love this course. Is it's it's holistic and it's for your life and your career. Like I think so many people are like, well, here's my career and here's my life, and I got to do this for career, and then I'll get to my life. Do you know what I mean? But like, so many people who've taken the course, they didn't say it's been career changing, but their words are it's life changing, because it's how it gives them more confidence, gives them the ability to make decisions from a place of knowing, not guessing. It gives them the understanding of like, oh, it's that thing getting in my way again. I'm not going to let that win. My vision is bigger, right? So it gives them so many things. And one of my clients actually who took this course, she signed up at 65 years old, and she was an actor and a screenwriter. And after doing the work of the course, she realized that she wanted to let acting go. And that was like a big thing. But she was like, you know what? I think I'm done. I'm done with this. And she leaned into screenwriting wholeheartedly. And within like a couple months, she got her first shopping agreement. Her and her writing partner, they'd been working together for like 20 years, had no success at all. Got a shopping agreement. They got hired on a big job. They got commissioned to write something. All this stuff happened at 65 years old. And Ellen was my client, and she had said, it was the first time in her life that she realized how much she had been holding her back at 65 years old. And now she has a whole screenwriting career, and like she has all this, like she's moved to this new community and has a new fitness plan and has all this new stuff in her life because she finally feels like, oh yeah, now I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
65.
Yeah. So no, it wasn't just actors. It's
Yeah.
voice talent. It's
Yes.
screenwriters. It's
Yes.
directors. It's producers. It's people adjacent to the business. This is absolutely like, we all make fun of that friend of ours who was a loser in high school and is now putting themselves out as a life coach on Facebook, right? I wanted to make you spit. I almost did. I was waiting for that cup to come up. But the
I
fact of the
just got a
matter
new
is,
computer. I'd be so mad at you.
uh, the fact of the matter is that the best courses are the courses that have effect beyond their stated purpose.
Mm,
And when you look at a course like this and you realize you can take what you learn in Dare to Be Unstoppable and apply it to a lot more than your acting career, your voiceover career, your screenwriting career, that's where you get real value from what's going on. And I shudder to think about the people who get into this business with this idea. How hard could it be? Right? I see these people acting on television. I could do that. My aunt was one of those people.
oh,
Whatever I
really?
did in life, she's like, "Oh, I could do that if I wanted to." And she was speaking to me from her desk at the dentist's office where she was a dental assistant. But
Oh,
she was dead sure that she could do whatever she wanted, which I love the inimitable confidence that is.
yeah.
But what we do is the one of the toughest things in the world to do because it's not reproducible. Every single time you're working on a different
Right.
script, you're not clearing the same drain, you're not putting on the same threaded nut on a pipe. You're not reproducing things the way things can be reproduced in other categories of work.
Right.
And so you're constantly being presented with a new puzzle to solve. And this is one of those lovely
Lovely.
ongoing courses that helps you understand that. I want to make sure that we get as many questions answered today as possible. And I have a question about, so put them in the chats below where you're watching this video, even if it's a replay. My question is, how do you know that what you've learned you're putting to good use? And I'm asking you this about Dare to Be Unstoppable, but I'm also asking you about this in general because sometimes people sign up for courses
Oh, sure.
and they never log in to the course site. Or they sign up for courses and they mow through the courses as quickly as possible because they're overachievers and they were always told that they're different and better and smarter and higher level than all the other kids. And so they have to fulfill that and they miss so much.
Yeah.
What is it that tells you I'm getting what I wanted from the course? What is it that tells you you've been
Mm.
effective as a student?
Ooh. Um,
And I'm sorry to
Crying.
put you on the block like this, but it's the
No.
kind of thing that people need to ask themselves before they sign up for something like this. I
Yeah,
I
yeah,
force people to ask that question with VO Heroes,
yeah,
and I want to know what it is that they want to accomplish, because I don't want to take their
yeah,
money and then have them come back with a review later on. Yeah, that class didn't work for me, and me wanting to comment below, you never logged into the site, you never took the class. What the hell? You
yeah,
know, what do you
yeah.
think?
Um, I was
What's a
making a
home run? That's what I
yeah,
want to know.
got it. Um, I was making a joke before you started talking that the home run is crying a lot. But and I say that jokingly and then not so jokingly because everyone who goes through module one, who actually does module one of the course and like sits with it and really answers the hard questions, because I ask some really hard questions in there, it inevitably brings up emotion and tears and being able to move through blocks, being able to move through those excuses, being able to see, oh God, I have been holding myself back there. Oh gosh, right? To really understand it. So I think the home run with this course is just being able to shift, right? I think, because look, if you're feeling stuck right now, disheartened, the instability of everything is like just throwing you off your course, right? You get to change something, and nothing's going to change if you don't change it. So I think regardless, I think that the thing of what this course will do, I think what the home run is, what the benchmark is for success, is that you will be different. You will not be the same person on day one. Even if you only finish module one, you will not be the same person. I promise you that. And I don't make promises lightly. I don't at all, because we can't guarantee, we can't promise anything, but I can promise you that you will not be the same person if you do the work. So it's really allowing the space, the time, the shifts to occur to make that change, because that change is the only constant thing we can rely on. And it's up to you to make that change to grow, not someone else. So that's what I think it is.
Great.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's wanting to be in a different place, wanting to be in a different place, because you will
yep.
be in a different place. If you do the work, you'll be in a different place. It's inevitable.
What do you tell the person that's like, I want to do better at acting, I want to do better at voice talent, voiceover. I'm going to take this course to kind of get my head straight, and they end up deciding, I want to be a writer. Like,
Yeah.
that example is both enlightening
Enlightening.
and lovely, and completely disheartening for people who want to go in and say, I want to fix my acting career. What if it ends up that you determine, hey, I'm more at peace with letting that go and being a writer instead, or being whatever instead?
Mhm.
Your answer is perfect, because it's being open to the opportunity and the notion of shifting, the notion of
Yeah.
change.
Yeah, and that it's okay. Again, it goes back to ego and truth. My ego still wants to say I'm an actor, but the truth is I want to be a screenwriter. So which one do you want to live in?
Yeah.
Right? And I think, God, of everything we've been through, right, in our industry, it's really, I feel like 2024 is really coming back to what is your truth as an artist? What is your truth? What do you want? Who are you? Because I feel like, we've gotten so far away from that with, all the, again, those outside forces coming at us and having to like recalibrate and move and being resilient. But now it's like, okay, but now who are you? And I think getting back to that truth is so important.
If this is landing for you, hit the like button for me if you would. Maybe the love button if you want to get really intimate. Um, I'd love to know if this is hitting home for you. And I'm going to speak out and say the quiet part. 2024, okay, maybe for animation, maybe for video games, but 2024 is not going to have a strike that you can lay blame on about your career,
Yep.
about your life, about your acting. We had plenty of opportunities. Oh, the writers are on strike, so I don't have to work so hard on my acting career. True.
Yep.
Oh, the actors are on strike now. I don't have to, oh, they're both on strike. And now the actors are on strike.
Right.
You know, and AI is coming for my job. So, I've got that to, you have all of these excuses, but 2024 has fewer coming up. And the question is, how are you going to buckle down and make this year the year of change?
Hmm.
How are you going to move forward without being stopped? How are you going to dare to be unstoppable? And these are heavy questions, and it would
Yeah.
be good for you to have somebody in your corner, somebody like Jodie Bentley. Um, so I urge you to use the link. It's in the description of this event, wherever you're watching this or watching the replay, voheroes.com/dare. The course is called Dare to Be Unstoppable. We have time for a few questions if you want to ask them. I have endless questions for Jodie Bentley on this. Um,
Well, I just want to
and
say what you were just saying, David, too, of, it's the year of change. And for me, I've been thinking about 2024 a lot. And, for me, it's the year of rebirth. I think this is a rebirth of our industry in a new space. And I
there's
think
no
it's
carpet involved here, is there? There's
no,
no.
no,
Okay, good,
no.
good, 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 good.
I think it's a rebirth. Like, but my free webinars that I just completed, it was called Make 2024 Your Creative Renaissance. I really feel like we're going into a rebirth, into a renaissance. Like we've been, okay, like if you know your history, right? The Black Plague happened, and then the Italian Renaissance happened, right? All these beautiful works of art and sculpture and thought leaders came out of this awful, terrible time. And look, we've had a pandemic, we've had strikes, we've been in an awful, terrible time. And I really feel in my heart of hearts that there will be a creative resurgence and renaissance in 2024. And we get to have that rebirth and refocus and renewal of who we are as artists to go along that journey, or else we're going to be stuck here and the industry is just going to keep moving. So for me, it's a year of rebirth.
So let me just ask those of you that are watching a simple question. And the question begins, what if? What if Jodie is right? What if 2024 is the beginning of a new era? What if you could take advantage of this pummeling that we've been taking the last few years
Yeah.
and turn it around and kind of jujitsu it, kind of aikido it, and use its own weight against itself? That's one of the ways that I think this course will help you dare to be unstoppable, because the examples that Jodie uses and the processes, the strategies and tactics, the procedures that she offers you, and the potential change and growth that you might get can take what has been just an awful experience, a continual awful experience,
Right.
and you can use it to your advantage. You can use it as the springboard for things that are the opposite, or at least different than how awful things have been.
Yeah.
I don't think it could get much worse.
I don't think so.
So we somehow survived it. I think now is the perfect opportunity for you to take this moment and get some good training, some solid training, and some ongoing support from Jodie and her team. For those of you that are my students, you're going to get some additional support from me, because when you come back to VO Heroes or you come back to the ACX Masterclass and you put in place the things that you learn in Dare to Be Unstoppable, we're going to support you in that. We're going to make sure that we cradle you in that same blanket. So this upcoming is a year for me as well. This is a big year for me. And I'm like laying down the rules to my team about isolating ourselves and really examining what I teach, how I teach it, what the content is, what the results are that I'm hoping my students get.
Mhm.
And I know Jodie does that as well. She has a bigger team than I do, I think. So she spends a lot of time, and you get to be the beneficiary of that. So I want to make sure that you get that. Jodie, what else do you have for people if you want to share some last minute stuff?
Oh, I think as we move into the new year, a lot of people say, "Okay, what's one thing that I could do? Like, what's the big thing that you do every year?" Well, what I do every year is my Dare to Be Unstoppable course. That is how I do my year every year. That's how I start my year. I'll be doing it on the plane in a week, starting it. But I think one of the biggest things is we were just talking about, David, like how this year has it's been a lot, and it might not have been what you expected, and you might have had some disappointments, and you might have had disappointments the past 3 years, right, through the pandemic. And I think as we move into a new space, as we move into this new year, I think it's just so important to let go and forgive. And what I mean by that is like let go of all that baggage that you're carrying with you, letting go of all those things that are getting in your way, letting go of those disappointments, letting go of, oh, why is this year going to be any different, right? Letting go of those things that aren't serving you. Because I think we've all built some habits in 2023 that aren't serving us, right? And either we continue to do them or we're going to let go of them. So I invite you to really look at what can you let go of to move forward, because taking all that baggage with you is going to be really heavy. And then I also invite you to really just look at that concept of forgiveness, because I think sometimes things might not go our way and we can get upset with ourselves or upset with other people or the industry at large, or like our agents, like I was talking about in the beginning. But like, how can you forgive yourself for what didn't go as you wanted it to go? And how can you forgive others to be able to move forward in a clean slate? I think is really what I'm trying to say. Like, how can we just let go and forgive to move forward with a clean slate into this new year of change and rebirth?
Great.
Yeah.
Dare to be Unstoppable is Jodie Bentley's premier course. It's awesome. And she is an amazing force to be reckoned with, and you want her in your corner. If you get to that link and you go to a page about the free webinars as opposed to the course, just pop her a message and she'll help you out.
Yeah.
But I want you to be aware of this. I want you to understand this. I want you to have the best year you've ever had, if possible. I want you to make this a year of change, a year of growth, and a year of accomplishment. And Jodie can help you do that. Jodie, thank you so much for being with me. I appreciate
Oh,
it.
thank you for having me. Always great to chat. And yeah, and if again anyone has any questions, please reach out, post here, I'll answer. Yeah, just want to be of service as we move through this holiday season into our new year. So
Yeah.
yeah.
If you want to make sure that Jodie and I see your posts, if you're watching this on the replay, tag us. Make sure that you let us know, because then we'll get emails, because we'll get a message that somebody wants help. voheroes.com/dare. I appreciate you guys listening and watching, and I will speak with you soon.
Great.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.